are ready to rinse. At this point, your indigo dyed pieces should have been dipped as many times as you wanted in your vat to get to the depth of blueness that you're hoping for. 2 to 3 times is a great place to begin. If you want even deeper to get closer to black, you're gonna go 4 or 5 or 6 times. That's a lot of times, but I know you can do it if you're really hoping for that super dark color. At this point, we are ready to rinse our pieces. It's great to keep your gloves on because you're still going to be working with your dyed pieces and they could dye your hands if you start rinsing them without your gloves on. Before we get to rinsing, I just want to make a couple notes about your indigo dye vat. If you haven't done 15 yards of fabric, or sometimes even a little bit more, then your indigo vat is still good. You can seal it up with the lid into an airtight place. I mean airtight because of the lid, but you can put it in your garage, you can put it in your shed, somewhere that it's not going to freeze, but it doesn't have to stay any particular temperature. And it can stay good for up to a few weeks. So maybe you want to dye some things today and then maybe you run out of time, or you remember something, or you find something that you think would be nice indigo dyed, maybe with a cool shibori pattern. You can come back to this original dye vat for a couple weeks as long as it's been kept airtight. At that point, you open it back up and give it just a gentle stir. And if it still has that white indigo sort of chartreuse green color, then you know that the vat has still remained reduced enough to create this beautiful indigo dye. I know that's helpful for some people who want to dye a few things now and a few things later. Your vat is going to be good as long as you keep it airtight and it doesn't freeze. You can tell your vat is running out of power when your pieces don't oxidize to this dark blue, but they oxidize to kind of a light pale blue color. That means that you've run out of indigo and it's time to start over. Now, as far as rinsing, there's a couple different ways to do this. It really depends on your proximity to fresh water. So I'm going to start here in a bucket just to show you, but then I'm actually going to take my pieces over to a sink because that's going to work a lot better. If you're working in a stainless steel sink, then you're going to be fine. I wouldn't recommend rinsing your pieces in a ceramic sink because it could permanently dye the ceramic. If you don't have a stainless steel work sink or kitchen sink, then find a hose. It's better to take these outside and rinse them off outside than it is to ruin something in your house. You can start your rinsing with the piece all the way bound, dipping it in your fresh water or using your faucet to kind of run over the water. But as you're rinsing, you want to unbind it. So whether you're taking your rubber bands off and dropping them in the sink or in a bucket or just in a pile outside next to your hose, you can't properly rinse an indigo piece until it has been unbound. So I'll show you. I'm going to do a quick squeeze. The idea is that you rinse it until your water runs clear. So you want to keep it under a gentle hose or faucet running until the water runs clear. You can unbind it all the way and start to get a glimpse of your pattern. And it's so fun. This is like the ooh, ah part of the whole shebang. So this is my window pane pattern. It's not all the way rinsed yet. I'm going to go finish that off. But it is interesting to note that everything that is green is going to continue to oxidize blue. So all of those cool chartreusey little pieces in there, once I rinse it all the way and hang it up on my dry line, those green pieces are going to turn blue, so the pattern will be more complete. You can also cut your rubber bands off right here at the table before you rinse and open up your pattern. You're not going to mess anything up because your dye is already in there and it's starting to oxidize. So you can open it up all the way if you want, start to get a glimpse of what your pattern is going to be like, and then take it to the sink and rinse it out. Start to unbind within your sink or your hose, or if you unbind all your pieces and then take them over to the sink, either way works just fine. After you get all of your pieces rinsed out till the water runs clear, then it's going to be time to hang them outside on a dry line in a sunny place.